Hello and welcome to this India Today special. We're joined by a special guest once again. Joining me now is Gautam Singhania, the chairman and managing director of Raymond Limited, one of the country's leading textile and retail apparel manufacturers in the country. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Singhania. The big question, as the lockdown now crosses the month, how would you describe the state of the manufacturing industry, particularly the textile industry? Would you say the situation is dire? It is very, very difficult. How would you best describe the situation at the moment?
Thank you, Rajdeep. I think, firstly, the whole industry is closed. There is absolutely zero manufacturing, as you know, in the lockdown. But as you know, this industry not only caters to the domestic market, it is fiercely competed and competes in the global market. And I think with the COVID around the world, not only are we getting impacted in domestic, because as in domestic there are no sales, I think all exports have also come to a grinding halt, because in the US, there's an estimate that sales will come down by 50%. Neighboring countries are exporting. They are also much larger exporters than us. So I would say, yes, the situation is very serious today.
In this serious situation, do you believe that it's the small and micro industries who are suffering more? At the end of the day, Raymond, may have the resources to tide through this. But when I look at the MSMEs in particular, 63 million MSME units, they account for a third of India's manufacturing output and about 45% of exports. They have the real liquidity crunch, disrupted supply chain, labor availability. Do you believe their problems are even more severe than yours?
I think it's very difficult to say whether theirs is more or ours is more, but you have to remember that the MSME and the large companies are interlinked. If the MSMEs have it okay and they're able to come out of the problem and the large companies are in a problem, then who are they going to supply to? They don't only do exports and vice versa. So I think the MSMEs and the large companies have coexistence. I think the problem is across the world. It is across sectors. So छोटे आदमी की छोटी problem, बड़े आदमी की बड़ी problem, but the problem is there.
The problem is there. What's the solution? Do you see any light at the end of this tunnel, particularly if the lockdown continues well beyond the 3rd of May?
I have always said that, and please don't get me wrong, but I think, unless the markets don't open, the economic revival cannot happen, because for production to start, I think the sales have to start ahead. And until the lockdown does not lift, I don't think we're going to see any economic revival. I think the country has done a phenomenal job as far as the virus is controlled. I think they've done a very good job in terms of containing the virus. And if you see on a global scale, we have probably come out at the forefront. But really, until the country opens up, I don't see economic revival. And even manufacturing revival will have a lag of at least a couple of months from a sales revival point of view.
So is the solution to provide some kind of a large package? Because we have this severe lockdown, but it seems at the moment there is no social security for the poor, but also no package to incentivize Indian business, particularly, again, the MSMEs. Do you believe that at least needs to be done on an urgent basis? Provide a large financial package in a way.
See, if you see, every other country in the world has created a very large stimulus. If you see what the US has done with almost 3 trillion, when a corporate or MSME or anybody sales come down to zero, they obviously need support. How are we supposed to get through this? And my concern is more the social problem. I mean, it is inclusive growth. We all need to grow together. But, this is a time which is unprecedented. And, every MSME, every corporate, everybody needs support. And yes, we are looking forward to a package. How do we deal with it?
So would you like the lockdown in the first instance to be lifted to rebuild those supply links? Do you believe it is now important to look at ways in which to restore livelihoods above all else?
I personally think that, health, lives is paramount of importance, but in a guarded manner where there are a concentrated effort to lift the lockdown. And I think we should have a good roadmap to reopening. If you see in the US, places have started reopening. We should exercise full caution. And I'm sure there are the heavy red zones which can take their own time to open. But I think at least the green zones and the orange zones, I'm sure the government is best equipped for this. But opening is important, if that's your blunt question.
Because one of the biggest worries, of course, is job losses across industry. Now, informal labor, informal sector labor in particular is suffering. Daily wage laborers. There are a number of small textile units which employ daily wage laborers in places like Tirupur completely shut. Therefore, people are hurting at the bottom of the pyramid. How do you see a resolution to that? How do you sort of provide a kind of safety net to them?
So that's what I said. The only way you can do it is if you restart, because if you've got to start somewhere. If you start with the sales, if sales happen, manufacturing can happen. If manufacturing happens, jobs can be created. I think this whole migrant labor that has gone away is going to take time to come back. So there is going to be a lag, and the only way that the employment can go back to what it was is if there is consumption. And the consumption will happen if the lockdown comes down. So it is a little bit of a Hobsons choice, but one has to take some calculated risks.
Gautam Singhania, yes. Because, when I look at the hard numbers, particularly when it comes to job losses, around 31% of domestic apparel factories might close. Around 25 lakh workers could lose jobs, according to the Clothing Manufacturing Association of India. Textiles is the second largest employer in the country, providing employment to about 45 million people. So you're saying, in a way, that somewhere, unless you kickstart the economy again by opening up, all these people face a very uncertain future. Am I correct?
There itself is a large number of bankruptcies and a massive demand contraction. And if the US is going to stop demand, what is going? I mean, we are only suppliers to them. If you see Bangladesh, the textile industry has got a massive boost in terms of a package that only makes them a little more competitive than they already are. We need to get our act together and get more competitive. I think we're sitting on an opportunity where we can really take advantage of the hatred that there is towards China. And we have a golden opportunity, which I don't think we'll ever get in our lives. I certainly will never buy a Chinese product after what they've done to the world. And I genuinely believe, we be Indian and buy Indian, we can really get ourselves out of this faster than anyone else could.
I want to ask you one last question. In a message to Raymond employees recently, you said, in the light of the current situation, I have taken the decision that I will not be taking any salary from the company till the lockdown is in place. And after that, I will be taking a substantial reduction on the same. Do you believe that corporate India now needs to sort of be much more philanthropic, needs to ensure that there are no salary cuts, no job cuts? Because we are hearing about salary cuts and job cuts all over the place, despite the Prime Minister's intervention. Is the harsh reality that despite maybe a statement made by the likes of you, the average person is facing, as I said, an uncertain future?
Yeah, but
and corporate India needs to help him.
Yes, but look at it. Any business can plan for a 5, 10, 15% sensitivity analysis, but if somebody's sales go to zero, even though he might want to do something, he might not be in a position to do something. How will this MSME that you're talking about, 63 million MSME, how are they going to pay when they have no sales? They might want to. And everybody is going to run out of money at some point, because money really, it's an engine that works.
So you're calling in a way to open up not just factories, but also shops, retail. So the entire supply chain, Gautam Singhania, you believe has to be reopened in a way. Only then will economic activity get revived. Am I correct?
100%. Unless, it's a circle. You can't open one part and not the other part. Unless the sales don't happen, you have to start at that side. Because I can't manufacture and build up inventory when I don't have access to capital, I have no inflow of cash. how am I supposed to manage it? So we need to have sales first. The sales will give us cash. The cash will help us run this chain and the cycle.
Gautam Singhania, you've spoken out very clearly, very strongly. I appreciate your joining us. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Rajdeep.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.